Okay, guys, this is going to be a very important video that I think is going to clear up a lot of things. There are so many ways you can trade my strategy. All right. One of my favorite ways is to follow the trend with EMAs, and I'm going to show you guys how you can literally catch moves happening, big moves happening before everyone else gets to them, and then and how you can double dip and play the entries again. But I'm going to show you guys a very nice little thing. You have to be engaged watching this because this is going to be a little faster pace. It's going to be a little harder to alert. So if you're in my Discord or you're watching this or not in my Discord, obviously more eyes the better. So we can see this. That way, help each other out. And so we can catch these moves that happen before everyone else. So let's go into the charts here. And basically what's going to happen is when you look at any chart, whenever there is volume, that's when you want to come on into. All right, for example, Ruby was moving overnight, right? Ruby was moving overnight. I want to go over this trade right in here. As you can see, we really want to look for this EMA 200 to be at the bottom. Very rarely do I see we get momentum touching an upper Keltner channel and then we just flop all the way back down. But here's the beautiful thing about this. When you see a fresh trend like this, you want to plot your EMA 200 at the bottom. And when you see a fresh trend like this, where you're seeing this crisscross, where this EMA 200, it's finally at the bottom, you can start taking the trades when you clearly see it at the bottom. And you can see this EMA, we're up in here, this EMA 200 here, wait for any type of pullback into this 10 or 20, and your stop loss will be below this 200. And you can see, well, what is your risk versus reward? You're risking 5% or 6% on a penny stock, which is very daggone good. That's not bad at all. And then look at the monster move up because you caught the trend early. You at least get a 2R trade and it goes up 44%. Now, granted, you have to be watching these when they're happening because once this crosses like this, it can happen fast. You have right in here, you start to see it crossing up. You start seeing it going up overnight. You see that it hit this upper band. You see this 200 crossing below. You can see it pulling back to the 10. Boom, goes all the way up. And then you can double dip on my other strategy and you wait for price to pull back to the 200, wait for our accumulation zone, which is right up in here. And then your stop loss would be below the recent low of this accumulation zone, which I would put it down in here. And as you can see, you're risking what? From here to here. You're risking that much. And then you can see where do we pump up? It goes higher. This worked with anything. One of the biggest movers that is happening right now is MSGM. As you can see, what happened? You see this big move up. The EMA 200 is now at the bottom because anytime you touch an upper Keltner on my system with a factor of 4, that is extremely bull power. And then what do you see happening? Price cools back to the 10 or 20. You can get in on the 10. I recommend the 10 because it might not go to the 20. You save yourself a little bit extra. Your stop loss is down here. And then as you can see, your risk versus reward is pretty tremendous, right? It goes up from this entry here on the 10 all the way to a high of 107%. This is the way to do it. This works with anything, guys. So I just want to make this video so you could see where would you be looking to take shorts when you have a fresh cross below. As you can see, the EMA 200 comes above on IREN. As you can see, price pulls back to the EMA 10 right in here. Your risk versus reward is right in here. I would put it at the high of this candle here. You're risking 0.66. And you can see IREN has a beautiful downtrend going down and down and down. And then you can take another short here on the 200 if you really wanted to. This is called the double dip method. Boom, boom, it goes down. So this works. I can show you any chart that has volume, right? I want to try to find a fresh uptrend idea. As you can see too, you see how this 200, you might be like, oh, I want to go long, but this 200 is not at the very bottom. You see how that 50 is at the bottom and the 200 is just not there. You want to make sure that the 200 is the bottom. You want to have the 5, the 10, the 20, and the 50 plotted. And as you can see, where is everything happening? It's getting shorted on this 200 constantly and constantly and constantly. Let's see if I can find something where price did make an upturn. I mean, look at this on AFRM, but that would have been a hard one to catch. But it just works so accurately. 200 comes in and it pushes back down. 200 pushes back down. That's why I love using this strategy, all right? Now, here's a good example here on AMD. This one, I want to show a losing trade too. As you can see, what is happening? The 200 is crisscrossing, but we don't actually have an upper band touch, confirming it is extremely bullish. As you can see right in here, when you don't touch the upper band, and you also don't have price pulling back to the 10. You want to have price pull back to this 10 for the best risk versus reward. If AMD pulled back, then you can have a clearer stop loss. But yeah, you can look at any, let's look at WRX, right? This one was moving up big. I played this many times in the Discord. I alerted this for you guys. Haven't lost on this one yet using my strategy. As you can see, when price hits the upper band, and what do you see happen? This is an A+ example of what can happen. Price pulls back. Anytime you hit the upper band, that's extremely bullish. Extremely bullish. And you get the cross of the 200 here. So what do you see here is the 200s going here, EMA 10s coming here. And as you can see, what happens? We go from EMA 10 all the way up at 56%. So you guys keep asking me, how can I get in these trades early? You just got to be watching the movers happen. You got to be watching these price comes up. And guess what? If you lose, you're going to lose on this strategy. If you lose, there's your risk versus reward. Your stop loss is under here. You're in at 39, and your stop loss is 36 cents. Does that make sense, guys? All right, let's go. And then this was where I double dipped here. I played it right in here, and I also played it down in here on an EMA 200 in the 5 minutes. It doesn't matter what stock you look at. I know CMBM was a big mover. When you touch that upper band, you need to look for an upper band. And also you want to look for price pulling back, right? But as you can see right in here, let's just say you look at this, right? You see this crisscross, a little close to that. Price pulls back. It gets a little, you want to make sure what your stop loss is. As you can see, you're risking here. If you want to get in right away, I wouldn't call this a really momentum trade because you didn't touch this upper band. The best trades are going to be when you touch this upper band and it swiftly pulls back. I like to see the 10 a little closer here. You see the difference? You can analyze a lot of this stuff. You see how, the difference is when these are really scrunched up. You look how tight your risk versus reward is on that play. Same thing with that MSGM that I was looking at. You had a very tight risk versus reward right up in there. I mean, as you can see, it could go to 20 and 50, but I mean, you choose what you want to risk. You want to go 10%, or look right here, you can get a little more. It can, but a lot of times I see happen is it'll come, worst case scenario, it comes all the way down and then it'll pump up or just stops you out. But that's really the only way to catch these trades efficiently with volume. The best way to look at it is, are we touching the upper or lower band? Look for a pullback and then continue the trend. And then make sure that you make 9 times out of the 10, 200 is going to be at the bottom if you touch this upper band. All right. If you touch the upper band, it's going to be down at that bottom here. You can also see the biggest mover was NTC. Let's take a look at that. As you can see, nobody should be trading NTC. We have a crisscross below here. Look at the opposite side effect. What do you see? We hit this lower band, so what's going to happen? The EMA 200 comes at the top. And then what happens? We could come to the 10 and bounce lower. Remember, this decided to go to the 50. Your stop loss would be at a recent high or above that 200. Your stop loss would be here. And as you can see, we come here, come back to the 200, go down, 200 down, and it just keeps going down from this 200 here until we get a crisscross above. Here was one of the biggest moves that we saw on NTC. NTC, as you can see, we don't get a crisscross till right around here. And then right in here, it could be your stop loss at this demand zone. Always look at the demand zone. Where is consolidation? I can clearly see it's right down in here. Let's say price comes up, price pulls back. I don't like this motion here. You really want to see when price goes up big and then comes down really fast like that. Because that's going to be your liquidity grab. But let's just say, yeah, this is a nice trade because we have a fresh 200 and your stop loss is down here. But you got to make sure, like, if I was going to take this trade, would I really take it on this 10 and then my stop is like 18%? No. You got to look at the risk versus reward. Anything above a 10% stop loss, you're kind of pushing it. But so this type of trade, I would use my original strat of wait for the 200, take that bounce on that 200, and then the stop loss, I wouldn't put it right in there because that's too big. I would probably look at my demand zone on this area and just put the stop loss under there. So you got to have to adjust your stop because never let a trade be too big of a loss. And as you can see, it touched that 200 and made a monster move. And you can see this time and time again, guys. When are you catching the big moves? When price makes this upper Keltner touch, price pulls back to the 10 and 20, and then it comes back up. You can double dip on the 200, and you can see time and time again, where's your stop loss? Just right under here. It's a little big. So that's I probably would have not have taken this one straight off the bat, but you can see, you're risking a lot. But look at the monster move it does. So it just depends on the sizing you want to do. I personally like this trade a little bit better. Let it come back to the 200. Your stop loss is under here. The lower price stocks you're going to risk, they're going to move a little bit faster. But that's why I took MTC here. If you guys were wondering how the heck did I even want to take MTC, because we made a crisscross in the 200. We bounced back. We made the move back down to the 200 fast. And then it came up. Now, granted, if it comes back to the 200, this was actually the official touch here. To me, trading is just risk versus reward. Look at your supply and demand areas. Look at your 200. Give yourself a little bit wiggle room. If you took it again here, where is your stop loss? That's a 4% stop loss, and then it goes soaring up again. I only play the 200 once. Since this one actually didn't touch the 200, that's not actually counted. A lot of times, price will get very close to it and then bounce. But that's how I caught the MTC move. I was looking at that kind of scenario. But yeah, I just wanted to share this. More eyes, the better. When price touches the upper Keltner, look for your best risk versus reward. That EMA 10 and 20 is going to give you those early bounces and have your stop loss below the 200 or an area of accumulation. Look for no more than 10% stop loss. Usually 5 to 8% is really good. And then follow the trend from there. Your risk versus reward is going to be amazing. And you can easily get one trade like MSGM, MTC, that are making over 100% return. That's how you get in early, guys. I just wanted to make this quick video because a lot of people keep asking me, like, I want to get in early. I want to get in early. You have to be engaged in the charts. You have to be watching things. You have to be looking at your scanners. You got to be looking at, I have tons of scanners that I can look at for overnight. I'm doing prop firms, so I have a lot of stuff that I'm doing in trading. You can use Finviz. Webull has a scanner. But look for a scanner that has volume picking in, and then you see that we never chase it when it's up in this upper Keltner. We always are looking for price to pull back, right? We see a price come up, price pull back, we get in for the rally, right? Price pulls up, comes back, then the 200 is our next play, and that's our final play, and we take it, right? So you can play these, on this initial rally, and then on this 200 and just milk the gains, guys. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. As always, join the Discord if you want to do it. You will love this Discord. I'm trying to make this super user-friendly. Obviously, if you want to learn how to trade, you've got to get in the Discord. You got to get your feet wet. Watch the live streams. I'm going to discuss all this. You will see little tips and tricks with this strategy, the band strategy, combining it with the EMAs to follow the trend, go against the trend, and how you can find so much opportunities doing this. And you will not be having guesswork. You're going to know exactly where your stop loss is and exactly where you're looking to take profit. Taking profit, to me, is always usually a 2R trade. Risk 10%, gain 20%. Or it's just a supply and demand. Look at supply or resistance. If resistance is coming up, take some profit there. Go break even if you're up above 10% so you don't lose your gain. So I say that all the time. But if you want to join the Discord, click the link down below in YouTube comments below. It'll be pinned. It'll say join the premium Discord for my alerts. Take you to this free chat landing page, hit house, subscribe, and hit day trade alerts. You're going to want the gold membership. That's going to give you access to all the education videos. I'm going to put more education in this weekend as time goes. I'm always updating my stuff so you guys can get the new relevant information. But it's only $12 a month if you subscribe on your computer. I think you guys are going to love it. But thanks so much for watching this. This is how you get on the early trends on anything. Small caps, big caps. It doesn't matter. Peace out, guys. Happy trading.